Welcome to the Parley, Real People, Real Talk. My guest today, my good friend, my jiu-jitsu instructor, Renshi Scott Taylor. Thanks for doing it, man.
Oh, no problem. Been waiting to do it. Well, we
Wow.
did one. We did one, but neither one of us liked it.
Yeah, I was way too high. I couldn't. It was brutal. Hey, listen, good to see you, man. So first off, I just want to say I'm really, really happy for you. The dojo's coming along nicely, and it's kind of a revival of the barn, so to speak. I know I've been slacking and I haven't been training. I've had a lot of injuries I've had to work with, which has been frustrating. But I do come when it's not flared up so bad. But it's great to see it growing. How does that feel, man? After all this time?
Feels great. Once COVID was over and we started back up, like the adult class blew right up. Kids class is getting better and better. I couldn't do it without the help of Sensei Nick and Alexis.
Yeah. So Sensei Nick is he's joined on as part co-owner or part partner.
Yeah.
And so how is that? Go ahead.
He pretty much looks after all the business side of stuff. He's really good at that sort of thing. Better I. So I'm glad we asked him to come aboard and help out that way.
It allows you to just kind of do what instructors like to do most, just teach.
Pretty much. I pretty much told him, I go, you look after the business side. My job's the mat.
And Sensei Nick's come like I've got to watch him grow, man. He's come such a long way. He's really, really a really good instructor, really good with the kids, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. My kids enjoy being in his class. And Sensei Alexis, where did she start from?
She started, I think, when we used to be at the barn. But man, I've been teaching her since she was a little girl.
Really? She was in the barn?
Yeah. Kids class. She was there. She was feisty when she was little too, just like she is now.
And how do you feel like she's coming to that role?
She's coming good. She's really good with the kids. She just started teaching women's only class.
And how's that been received?
Well, the first night she did it because there was a storm. She only had 2 people, but I think there was 4 there the other night.
That's good. It's growing.
Yep.
So what does it feel like to have a team now, man?
It feels great. I love it.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's just, Nick, I'm glad you came aboard teaching Monday nights and Fridays. I love it. I know I can't make it to your classes Mondays because I teach in Bob Cajun every other Monday night, but it's good. If, like you said, it feels like the barn again. Yeah,
it's starting to grow. It's starting to have its own feel. I'm looking forward to getting a group of people to the level where we have people competing now, like competing in kickboxing, competing in Muay Thai, competing in jiu-jitsu. I think that's going to be the thing we need. We need to have that, grow that competitive team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the plan? Are you looking to grow this? Because I know we got Sensei Boomer, and you teaching at Bob Cajun. How many different places are you guys looking to do for Taylor Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, hopefully as many as we can get. But yeah, right now Boomer teaching out of his house, a couple of guys, and then Sensei Chris Tyndale and I teaching in Bob Cajun.
Where's that spot in Bob Cajun? Whose spot is that? Is that your Taylor Jiu-Jitsu's or is it affiliate?
Oh, it's Taylor Jiu-Jitsu.
And there's Sensei Chris running it out there?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So just because we do it Monday nights for now, and I work every other Monday, so he covers the nights I can't be there.
Are you guys running it out of a different like a dojo?
Just running it out of a church there. I think it's Trinity Church.
Oh, nice. So it's just solely Taylor Jiu-Jitsu there as well, eh?
Yep. A good bunch of guys there too.
Who's the guys that are out of there? I don't think I've met them.
No, they haven't been down to Oshawa yet.
Yeah, we got to do we got to get together and have all spots kind of come together and have a open mat.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to plan that for when the weather gets a little better.
What is your goal for the club in the next like 6 months to a year? What are you working towards as an instructor?
Well, always looking to grow and have more people and just get Taylor Jiu-Jitsu name out there. Just more students, better. Want to make everybody as good as possible. Grow. We got some seminars coming up.
Tell me about those.
Sensei Calvin Chung is coming in to do like takedown seminar with his mix of judo. We're gonna have Shion Ryan Bodrug in.
Now, what's he going to be focusing on?
Well, Alexis wants him to teach short staff like the Joe, so we might do a class just on the Joe, which would be good. I mean, I think we should be diverse in a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind doing a stick grappling one too as well.
Oh yes, we did talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing one in combat, and I'm probably looking to do it. And actually, I was talking to Renee. He said he might jump in that and help the cause and share some stuff as well. So we do like a joint thing, possibly do a joint thing up at your place.
Yeah, I'd love to have Renee come in. He did message me about doing some jiu-jitsu privates with me, but
so maybe we'll get him. Well, maybe we'll get him to come up. We'll roll during the day, and then we'll do the thing later in the day. Has he reached out to you about rolling like recently?
Just before Christmas, I think he was talking about it.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's hilarious. He was quite shocked by your by your videos though. I must say, I was like, he's like, oh, I'm like, Scott sends the worst shit, and he's like, no, he doesn't. Trust me, it would not affect me. I'm like, I'm telling you, man. And he's like, oh, just send it. And I'm telling you, the first thing he messaged me, he's like, bro, what the hell's wrong with that guy? It was so funny.
Well, I remember when we were having that group chat over Zoom, and he said, send it. And you're like, no, you don't want to open that can of worms.
That shit's traumatizing. Some of that stuff I've seen is traumatizing.
But it's funny.
It is funny, but it's fucking gross. Especially like, I gotta watch. Anytime you send something, if I'm around my kids or my wife, I don't even open it. I remember Jess was like, we're watching. I can't remember what we're watching something in bed, and my phone goes off. I look at my phone. I see it's you. I just fucking put it down. She's like, "Who was that?" I'm like, "Oh, Scott." She's like, "Oh yeah, what do you want?" I'm like, "He's just sending me some nasty shit. You don't want to see it, trust me." She's like, "What do you mean?" Like, you don't want to see it. So I show it to her, and she just fucking looked at me like, it was hilarious. So what have you been focused on in your jiu-jitsu lately, man? What's been your focus?
Well, as a lot of people know, focus just been wrist locks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can tell by that. What about the wrist lock game has got you having fun and digging so deep into it?
Well, you know what? Just like a year or two ago, when I just started playing around with them, then they just like clicked, and then now I just been hitting them from just about every position. Well, you know as well as I look at all the people I've tapped from them.
Yeah.
It just clicked one day, right? And they're simple, they're effective, they're right there.
How good do you think it is for self-defense?
I think it's very good for self-defense.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're onto something with that.
Especially on the ground, because when you do wrist locks standing up, don't get me wrong, they're effective standing too, but depending on which one you're doing, like you can still move your elbow around, right? Like your opponent can move his elbow and maybe slip out of it. On the ground, it's a little harder because I can use my body or the ground or your own body to base your elbow against, so it's harder to pull out.
Yeah. You know what it is? Because for people who don't know, like it's like I would describe it like putting your hand on hot plates. You can't keep your hand any one place for too long, because if you do, the threat of the wrist lock is there. Like even like people putting their hands on like the biceps. You got a good way of like just folding your arm, trapping my hand on the bicep and between the bicep and the crook of your elbow, and then just being able to turn a certain way that's going to cause that. I think that might be good for people who are like wrestling around with you if you can catch them in that. I think some of them are maybe a little bit too risky, or you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
some of
I know what you
them,
mean, and for sure some of them are. There's ones where I'm just like thinking shit up, trying to see if it work, and
oh yeah,
I
yeah. But there's
I might get it. I might get it in a row, but it might be a one-off.
yeah, no, but there's definitely the ones that I know you catch regularly. Like even ones that I can get sometimes. Like they definitely will stop somebody, for example, punching you or hitting you, like breaking
Right.
their not going to feel good. And also like if you're wrestling around in like a self-defense type of scenario, and you're gonna have to put your hand down on the body or put your hand down on the floor at one point. That wrist gets broken. Like good luck. They're not gonna be able to post on that shit. It's gonna be fucking very painful for them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think there is something there, man. And like it could possibly affect the possibility of them pulling a weapon now too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, one of the guys said to me the other night, he goes, "I don't know where to grab you because every time I do, it's a potential wrist lock."
Have you done a
And
lot of have you gone for a lot of them like with no gi, or have you just been hitting them all in the gi?
I've done both.
Which one do you find better?
Uh, Depends on what you're doing. Like the one where you stick the arm in the bicep,
Yeah,
I can get that in both no gi and gi.
is that like one
Right.
of your I guess go-to spots?
That is one of my go-tos, and I can actually get that one from just about every position. If you stick your hand in the crook of my elbow, I'm probably ripping your wrist off.
And do you still play a lot with the leg game, or are you just more just focusing on just wrists?
Just wrist right now, but I still play with the leg lock game and the arm bars. I find sometimes I'll go in little spurts, like I'll focus on something for a while. I'm like, all right, I got it pretty much nailed down. Then I'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I like doing that too. I like isolating just like certain shit and just spending time on it, build it up, and then when you feel like you got to level up on it, you kind of move on to something else too.
I know recently I was just at a thing in Kingston, and already got asked to come down and teach some wrist locks on the ground at some dojos. So looking forward to
Yeah.
that. Just waiting for dates.
What was that thing you did with Paulo again? Where can they find that? You did a whole video, some video content with the wrist locks.
Yeah, so did some wrist lock instructionals. So if they want to find it, they can send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook or
Is it not up on the
email.
site? Is it not up on the site?
No, they just have to email and I'll send them the link.
You should try to figure out a way to have it set up so that people can like order it right off right off the website.
Yeah, I'm sure
So,
Tyndale could probably help me out with that.
you could probably set that up on PayPal, and then once that goes through, then you can just set it like an automatic reply with the link for their download.
Right. Yeah. Maybe Tyndale can help me with that. He's pretty techie on that stuff.
Yeah, when the first time I did the FU stick fighting, that did really really well. It sold like pretty much every continent, but it sucked. Like every time I got a message, I'd have to like go to my computer and send the email. And I was getting them like all hours of the night because it sold in so many different countries, and I had to stay on top of it. So I didn't want to make sure I missed anybody. Right? I was a pain in the ass. I'll never do that again. I told Paul, I was like, I'm not doing this again. We have to find a better way. That's 100%. We have to find a better way.
Yeah, I kind of found out what you meant.
Yeah, right. It's fucking
Yeah.
annoying. It's really annoying.
Cause I'd be at work and people are messaging me and like, I'm at work. I'll send it as soon as I can.
So when's I guess I'm not sure we have a date yet, but when's the first competition you want to start looking to have some students go out and start competing? How far into the future is that for you?
Ontario Open is May 6th, but we got a bunch of new guys. I don't think they're quite ready for that one.
Any of the senior guys?
I don't think they're quite looking to compete just that early. I think they're looking around September, November.
Maybe you should do like an in-house in the meantime, just to kind of like have them go through that feeling of preparing and competing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just go through that kind of thing.
I think that's one of our plans. I think Sensei Boomer is going to do something like that. We're just trying to get some of the new guys caught up and show them how tournaments work and rules set and all that.
Yeah, rules are a big deal. Speaking of rules, like, how do you feel about how the rules are structured? Do you like it? Do you like grappling submission only?
I like grappling submission only, but I kind of see the point side of it and the advantage. Like I think they
Like,
kind of look at it as
talk about it. People who don't know, like, give them some more detail about it so they understand what you mean.
so I think when they like somebody has like they give a person the advantage, may not necessarily have points, but they've controlled most of the grappling match. They're seeing that as a win because he controlled the match, right? Or it'd be like it'd be like controlling the fight. Right. Same with points is you were controlling the match the whole time, so you win on points. My opinion is you didn't really win unless you submitted that person. Now that's my own personal opinion and how I feel about it.
You feel like it's just like, yeah, you dominated, but you were not able to finish the person.
Exactly. That's that. Like I said, that's my opinion. Probably take some heat on that one, but
well, I don't know. Like, I think you have a point because you see some people that they have somebody on them being aggressive, controlling, have the dominant position, but after a while of them not being able to finish the opponent, they start to get tired, and the other person starts to pick it up, and then sometimes they catch them. So
yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
Like I remember a lot of people, they used to do like that was their whole game at the barn. They would be very like very, very strategic, and they would make sure they wouldn't burn, and they would let you attack, and then or they would just it would be just close, but the person basically who wasn't conditioned enough, they get tired and make a mistake, and then the other one's able to capitalize.
Exactly, like what we used to do when you first started.
Oh my gosh, I had so much energy. I was like a dog chasing cars. Honestly, I didn't know what the hell to do, man. But it was fun. It was so fun, but it wasn't fun getting choked with the same shit for like 3 months. I used to drive there already angry because I knew it was gonna happen. No, seriously, you laugh. I used to be so mad. I'd be like, "Fucking guy, like not fucking. It's not happening tonight. It's not happening tonight." And then on the way home, I'd be like, "Fucking slamming the steering wheel, motherfucker! It happened again." It was bad, but you know what? It's so humbling.
Well, it is. I mean, we all started out like that. I remember when I started with Sensei Lenny Richardson years ago.
I know, Sensei.
Yeah, in Coburg, and I remember like, did Taekwondo for years. I'm like, I got good cardio. I'm like, oh my god, that's a whole different cardio when somebody's on top of you. I used to go in the bathroom, lay on the cold tile floor because I was so exhausted and just burn out and destroyed.
Yeah, I remember the first time getting choked with my gi. I had the fucking hickey from it. So I come back from jiu-jitsu and Jessica's like, "What the hell's on your neck? Is that a hickey?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a gi hickey. It's from being choked." Don't worry, it wasn't sexy. It was so annoying. But
I actually had to have a guy bring his wife to class because she didn't believe him.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, when I first started teaching and when I was in Coburg, this guy brought his wife. He's like, he did it.
You have to like try to simulate it so that she can, you can prove it.
Yeah, I explained to her what happened and the geese cutting in the neck and.
That's hilarious. That's pretty brutal though. That his like wife took him, like she came for real.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious.
I'd never come back again. I'd never come back again. What's the funniest shit that you see happen to new people?
Oh, so many.
For me, it's the neon belly making them fart. The first time somebody farts.
Yeah.
That's like taking someone's virginity in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, the knee on belly for sure when they fart. Some of the noises they make when they're getting choked.
Oh yeah, the gurgling.
Yep.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
The really fast tapping because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but we're saying this, but it's not like to make it sound like we're just killing white belts when they come in off the street.
People who have never grappled and that's their first experience, they don't know what to do, right? So it's panic mode. So they do one of those or
panic. It's not fun, man. It's not a fun feeling. Jiu-jitsu it's such a wild art. It's an art that you can simulate killing somebody without actually really, really hurting them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's different from like you can get hurt. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to say is like if you go spar in Muay Thai or boxing, you're getting punched in the face. You're getting kicked, right?
Right.
Even if it's not that hard, like accumulation, you're still getting hit ballistically. You're getting hit. But like grappling somebody, it's just like you're not banging your bodies against each other, but you're constantly moving. You're constantly using that energy, and you get so tired. But you're also like you get choked out or you get pretzeled.
Yeah, I think with jiu-jitsu and the difference, like with Muay Thai or boxing, is you can control it more in jiu-jitsu than you can some of the other arts. Like, you know what I mean? From not getting injured or not injuring your opponent. I think you just have a little more control.
I can see that, but I also see like high-level strikers like demonstrate great control. It's just different. It's just different. It's a different animal altogether. You can find commonalities in it, but I think at the end of the day, they're as different as a man is from a woman. Like there's just two different energies.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
A lot of people can't get past like how close you are. Like somebody breathing in your ear, like somebody has their ass in your face. Like you end up in some like weird positions sometimes in jiu-jitsu. It's like, what the fuck? Get out of here. Like sometimes I get mad, especially if someone's gi smells. I get mad.
Yeah, that's not right. Just don't be stinky gi guy. Wash your gi before you come to class, or get 50 of them like I have.
Yeah, we got like payments on those things still.
Yeah, I think I'm up to like 55.
Seriously, 55 gis?
Yeah, something like that.
They're like those cartoon characters when they open their closet, it's all the same fucking outfit that they're wearing. They're looking for something.
It's like Iron Man, dude. Like which suit am I going to wear today?
That's awesome. What's your favorite gi?
That
Bloodsport gi is pretty dope.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
My Rise gis are a few of my favorites too. Calvin's done really good on the Rise gis.
Rise, yeah. What's it? Rise MMA or just Rise?
Rise MMA.
Rise MMA.
Yeah.
How did he start that?
He just
started that too.
Yeah, he just decided one day that he was just gonna do it because he just wanted some good quality, and he wanted to take the money that he made from that and he reinvested into do like free self-defense for women and
yes, that's right.
Shit
that's
like that, right? So I mean, he's a good guy.
It's blown up, and he's selling like boxing gloves now and tanks, rash guards, the whole nine now, eh?
Yeah, he's done really well.
Yeah, it's pretty well known. I see a lot of people having that. Who was mainly doing the marketing for that?
Was him at the beginning, but I think there's a couple other people helping him now. I know Nick helps him out. And I think he's got a couple other people from his dojo that help him out. So I know he has a team, not a very big team, but he does have a team of people.
Well, as they get bigger, they grow, right? And as they grow, they'll hire more people.
Yeah, I hope to help him grow that brand too, because he's helping us grow.
It's good that that's really good. He's done really well for himself. When are you going to come out with your own see some like very cool rash guards or something come out, some very custom stuff I'd like to see?
We're working on it. We're working on it. There's a few things in the works, and I think we're going to do it through Calvin's going to help us with that.
What are you guys looking to start with?
We have some short sleeve ones in the work. Can't remember what's on it right now. Alexis did design it. So that'll be getting done hopefully sometime this year.
Right on.
And
You
I
guys
think
get
we
ready for the summer with some gear.
what's that?
You guys hopefully will have some for the summer.
I hope so.
Are you guys
And then
doing flash cards?
Yeah, rash guards, short and long sleeve. We just had t-shirts, jogging pants, and sweaters made. Pretty sure there's a set there for you at the dojo.
Yeah.
So we got that. I would like Calvin at some point in the next future is do tailored jiu-jitsu gis.
Oh, like custom gis for yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. So I have talked to him a little bit about that, but we're just growing just a little bit more, and we'll see what happens.
So for people who don't know that you originally trained under Soki Del de France, who was an OG in the grappling scene here, for those who have been around long enough. What's I guess what would you say is the biggest change you've made since going out on your own and starting your own brand? Affiliated still, I'm guessing, but what's the biggest difference you find from how it was under his tutelage and how it's kind of like, or what the goal is for how you want to have it?
So yeah, he is one of the OGs.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we just took it and we did a little more advertising, like Google reviews, and more social media content, Facebook, Instagram. Just trying to go out there a lot more to people's events.
So be more of like an open club, more interactive.
Right. Yeah. Just, go out there and spread the word. Yeah, I'm still affiliated with him. Like I'm still under the style of Kumo Jiu-Jitsu. I just kind of, because one thing he always said is take it and kind of make it your own.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing. I've had a few conversations. He likes what we're doing. He's very proud, he says. So
what do you think is the biggest difference you put? Because I know Kumo Jiu-Jitsu is Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. So what's the difference between standard Japanese Jiu-Jitsu that's taught and kind of like what you're doing? Because you've been influenced. You're not just a traditionalist that just kind of stays purist. Like explain to people how you've cross-trained different grappling arts and how it's affected you and how you're trying to put it together.
Right. So yeah, Kumo Jiu-Jitsu is Japanese based, but we've encompassed a lot of different styles, right? And even I'm doing the same thing. So like stuff I've learned from you, from your Jeet Kune Do and the stick and knife, like I love it. I try to put it into the system wherever I can. Like if we're working stand up, I do the eye gouge and into a clinch. Like you've taught me so much on that stuff that I love it. Like I consider you one of my teachers.
Well, I appreciate
too.
That.
Right. So, I love learning from you. Bull Drug, he's really helped me a lot with the standing wrist locks and the grappling wrist locks. Because I'll send that guy a video and I go here and he goes, yep, love it. Great. He goes, I'll show you something mean and nasty next time.
For those who are listening who don't know, what style does he do?
So Ryan does Shindo-Ryu,
which is
Aki Jiu-Jitsu.
What do they focus on? It's like a small circle, right?
There's a little bit of small circle. More of the stand-up side of Jiu-Jitsu that encompasses strikes and throws and locks. A little bit on the ground, but not as proficient as we are. So him and I trade off ideas too. I'll show his guys some good grappling stuff. They'll show us some more standing joint locks and throws.
How much of BJJ influence? Because I know you roll with a lot of BJJ guys. how much of the BJJ have you adopted into the Japanese ground game?
I've adopted quite a bit from my BJJ friends. Like I play a little bit more De La Hiva guard, a lot more spider guard. I think the wrist locks they learn more or less from me. But yeah, we just trade off ideas like anybody else.
What do you find like the biggest differences when you roll a BJJ guy versus like a Japanese jiu-jitsu guy?
I think some of them, not all of them, like a little bit more of the fancier stuff, like the barambolos, stuff like that. Like I'm not big on barimbolo. By no means saying it is a bad technique. It is a great technique for taking the back in sport. I wouldn't necessarily do it in the street.
Yeah.
But it's good, I think, because there's a difference. And I think some people miss some of the self-defense aspect in BJJ.
Yeah.
Because grappling is, don't get me wrong, like I love to grapple too, but I know they focus a lot on the sports side, but jiu-jitsu is also art for, yeah, I'm going to grapple, but it's also to help me get up and stand up so I can get away.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think that's what like if you start going back in time, like you go for where BJJ is now, like in the competition mats, like it's crazy. It's crazy, super. It's so amazing how much it's evolved. It's so crazy to watch. Like there's so many techniques. It's endless. Like people just keep getting more creative and finding better ways and newer ways to like execute stuff. It's amazing to watch how it develops. But I think if you watch in that kind of context, it's amazing. But if you backtrack it where it come from, like when the Gracies brought it out, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, like I like watching the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu's the self-defense material that they have. And then you have like the Japanese jiu-jitsu, which is like had a little bit of ground stuff, but it had more stand-up stuff, right?
Right.
But I find like that's kind of the three main pillars of jiu-jitsu. It's like that stand-up. Well, I would even put like judo in that, right? And you see,
yeah, absolutely.
You see a big resurgence in the judo too, right? Like coming back now, like a lot of the high-level guys are black belt in judo as well.
Yeah, and judo is a great art. I wish I started that when I was younger.
Yeah, it's hard on the body though.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard on the body though. But you know what? Like I think that's one of the best tools for self-defense too.
Oh, I agree with you. You're never unarmed when you can throw somebody into the planet.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it. Like, yeah, you want to be able to hit the person and you got to have good grappling if it goes to the ground. But if somebody grabs you, if your grappling is so good or your clinch is so good that, like, think about a Muay Thai clinch with striking and then having the ability to sweep from Muay Thai, but also now you have like the hip throws and arm drags and all that stuff from judo. Like if you're able to just throw somebody off you and hit them with the ground real quick, that's all you need.
Oh, exactly. Fight's over.
I've seen like even wrestling, man. Like see these kids fighting in the locker rooms and shit like that, or in the mall. You just see the one kid. It's all it takes. One person grabs a hold of the other one, picks him up, and dumps him. They're done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen some of those videos too.
They're brutal, man. So you kill somebody. You could kill somebody. They can smash their head the wrong way, and that's it. They're done.
Well, yeah. That you gotta be careful.
And especially with like in our climate with clothes and like the heavy clothing, like for the winter jackets and the sweaters and shit like that. That shit's perfect to grab.
You know, I get in that argument all the time, right? Like, oh, we don't wear jackets. Oh, well, we live in Canada, dude. We wear them like 6 months out of the year.
Right, it's a real thing.
And I tell people, any lapel choke I do in jiu-jitsu, I can do with your t-shirt, sweater, I mean, I tell people, I go, okay, so imagine like the Joker choke I like.
Yeah.
Right? I go, if you got a zip up hoodie that wasn't done up and I have the tail and wrapping it around your neck, oh, where's that zipper going? Like, I'm cutting your neck with your own zipper now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like life threatening, but you're definitely going to cut somebody up. But it's even like the same as like people who just go in the gym and they're sparring their shorts and a tank top. Like that's not going to feel the same. You're not going to move the same when you're wearing jeans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or shoes or
like heavy shoes or boots or whatever. Right? I think that's a factor maybe some people don't necessarily think about. Might be good to actually just do some training in your outdoor clothes just to see what that feels like.
Oh, absolutely. I know when I used to do Taekwondo, anytime I went and bought sneakers, I'd always try to throw a few kicks to see how heavy they were.
That'd be hilarious watching you at like a Foot Locker trying to do. Is that what you started with? Was Taekwondo?
Yep, did that for 10 years.
Yeah, that fucking picture still gets me every time. You show me. You were doing a really nice kick though. That shit was high. But that hairdo you had going on, brother. It was crazy. That was crazy. I just never pictured your hair looking like that.
Oh, but if I grow my hair out, I have curly hair.
Well, it looked like Shirley Temple doing a Van Damme kick. It was hilarious. I used to have thick ass hair too, man. I looked like when I was a kid. I was at a ring boy at my sister's wedding, and I had like my hair was thick. It was like a fro, right? And they had me in this like white little tuxedo. I looked like that midget person from Fantasy Island.
No tattoo.
Yeah, the plane. That's what I look like. I swear. It's hilarious. My mom still has that. I was like, don't show that shit to people. Come on, take that.
Yeah, well, I know. If I grow my hair, I can grow a fro.
You should. If you came to class rocking like you get like an Austin Powers gi.
Don't.
Grow the fro. Oh man. So, how long have you been training strictly grappling then? How old were you when you started? Like, what year was it when you started jiu-jitsu? How did you start it? And who'd you start with?
I started around 2002, 2004, and I started with Lenny Richardson.
Oh shit, that's when I started martial arts.
So, kind of like a lot of other people got into grappling, seeing this little guy on the TV doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
is that why? Was that the UFC that made you do it?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I got to learn that shit. But I finished doing Taekwondo first because, even my Taekwondo instructor kind of be proficient in one art and then start something else.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh? The impact that the UFC in '93 had on everybody in the martial arts world.
Oh, it changed the martial arts world.
Yeah. It was staged though. That shit was staged. Like I don't think the fights were staged, but that was set up so that jiu-jitsu was gonna win. Like that was like a live marketing because they were dojo storming for years. And they're just like, let's do this. Like, let's do this under the lights so that we can like set up jiu-jitsu. But I heard that's why they didn't take certain grapplers that tried out for it though.
Right. Yeah, I heard the same. I heard the same thing.
There's a whole documentary about it. That was the bad blood with what's his name? Kimo. Kimo was like a Japanese jiu-jitsu guy. Apparently he was supposed to be in like the UFC 1 and he wasn't they didn't let him do it. He got pissed off because they didn't want two types of jiu-jitsu. They were trying to showcase Gracie jiu-jitsu.
Right.
It wasn't really big in the US and they were looking like how can we blow this up and like claim it, put a fucking stamp on this shit. You know what I mean? So they got a lot of promotion, they got a lot of promoters that they were using the dojo storming to create the buzz for it. They got a lot of people to invest and boom, they started it.
Oh, hey, shout out to them. Great marketing and
well, they also kicked ass too, right? But
yeah, good way to blow your art up, like
big time. That takes balls.
Yeah, so I still remember like watching that, and then Sensei Lenny Richardson was actually teaching in Coburg, and I lived in Coburg at the time, and like started going there.
How'd you hear about him though? Did you just drive by and see it, or did you
No,
start?
I had a friend that was going there for a little bit, and then I just started going.
What was your first class like?
I got friggin' destroyed, brother. I got fucking destroyed. I thought I had him in something, and the next thing I know, my leg is getting locked up. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Who was the first person who choked you out? Was it Sensei Lenny?
Paul Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of him. Scott Merring knew him too, right?
What's that?
Did Scott Merring know him?
Yes.
Yeah, because I heard that name come from Scott before.
Yeah, so Paul was under Kumo Jiu-Jitsu too, and that guy was talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, lives in California now. But yeah, he was talented. I got together with him on days off, and he would show me stuff. So
who was kind of like your big brother? Who? Yeah, was it him? Like, there's always that one person that kind of takes you under the wing and starts showing you shit.
Right. Yeah, it was him for a little bit. And then there was a little bit of a falling out him and Soki LaFrance had. And then I just started going to Bowmanville to train with Soki LaFrance and just continued on there.
So Lenny was at Coburg and Soki was at Bowmanville?
Yes. Yep.
How did that come about where you started going to Bowmanville? Why?
Well, actually, Paul Stark is like, you should just come to Bowmanville with me one night. And so I did. And then I just kind of started going more and more there and training with them.
You first, what was the relationship with Soki when you first met him?
Great. It was a great relationship, good rapport. Pretty much became his uke right off. Threw me around like a rag doll. Beat me up, but loved every minute of it. We did have our indifferences, but we've overcome them. We still talk, still good friends.
What was the hardest thing about when you rolled him? What was the one thing that he would do that frustrated you more than rolling with anybody else?
Oh, is that goddamn fucking scarf.
Yeah, he's horrible, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would be that hard to deal with.
He has the most horrible scarf I've ever been put in. Like, just so much pressure. Can't breathe. And then he sits there and looks at you with those steely gray eyes and smiles.
Yeah, you know what? That's the one thing that always amazed me about him is like his ability to feel like way heavier than what he was.
Yeah.
Like it was weird. He felt like a 300-pound guy, man. And he's lighter than
it was, yeah. Well, you mean you've been there, same as me. Fucking horrible.
I remember just being on the mats, and I'd be having my own battles. And you know how you're in your own battles, and you're like, there's those moments where one guy's waiting for a position, he's kind of just waiting to see how the person squirms so they can take advantage. And you're fighting and you're trying to frame it. Your head's on the mat, and you look over and you're breathing, and you look over and he's watching your battle the whole time while he's sitting on someone with the scarf, and he's just watching them, watching you go, and he's smiling. He'll even start coaching you, and I just like this guy, man. It's too much. Or he would just be you would be you'd have his trying to get his back, or you trying to get on something on him, and he trying to work something, and he just kind of sit there and he could have read the paper there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then
so frustrating.
Then he would turn you over and ruin your day.
What was his most common submission that he would slap on people?
Paintbrush.
Yeah.
Or the Americana paintbrush, Udigarami, whatever term you want to use for it. But that was his go-to. Man, I'd watch him set that up on people and just be amazed.
High-level people too.
Yeah. I remember grappling him one night, and it was just me and him after class, and I got him in a heel hook, and I popped his knee. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And he was like, no, partly my fault. He goes, I know better. I should have tapped. He goes, but you didn't tell me we were playing with heel hooks. I'm like, uh-oh. So we start rolling again, and within a second, he had me in a heel hook, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
What was it like when you? What was describe your black belt test, man?
So black belt test was 8 hours. So you did all the curriculum with a few surprises thrown in here and there.
What was some of the surprises? Tell me, man. Go in detail.
Just some of the just people attacking you from behind, not paying like, you're not looking, you're not focused on that person. You don't even that person's behind you, and they're coming up and grabbing you. And now you got to fight them.
And how long will you let that go for? Just until you were able to get a dominant position?
Yep, or a submission. So the whole thing was like you do the curriculum, and then you fought 2-on-1, and you even had to grapple 2-on-1, and then you had to grapple one after another, right? But it wasn't like you got a break in between. That one person was coming off, and that other person was already on top of you.
Shark Tank.
Pretty much.
Essentially, yeah.
So what he wanted to see was that, and you could tap as much as you want, right? The only thing he didn't want you to do was give up, because you wouldn't have got your black belt. But he just wanted to see, even though that you were completely exhausted and you thought you had nothing left in the tank, you could pull something out to finish the fight.
So it was meant to break you.
Absolutely. And he even told you that. He goes, and he was yelling at you while you're grappling people one after the other or whatever, just so it simulate kind of like a real fight, because in a real fight people are yelling, and that's what they do. And I remember Sensei John Powell, because him and I did it at the same time. We kind of came up through the ranks together. He's doing his grappling. He grabbed the guy and pulled him in the guard, and Soki's like, "Why'd you pull him into your guard?" He's just yelling. I was like, "Oh!" And then he was, yelling at me like, "Why'd you give up your back?" And I was like, "I don't want to die."
he was looking, when you guys are grappling, he was always thinking about it in a like for street orientation as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I kind of leaned more towards his style of grappling, because it was more.
That's why I sought out Japanese jiu-jitsu, because like I like jiu-jitsu, but I'm not like a grappler. You know what I mean? Like, I don't love grappling. I love everything, but I'm not somebody who just wants to focus on grappling. I like striking too, right? I like moving around more.
Right. Yep.
But I like clinch. I really like clinch. But if I don't go to the ground, that's great. So for me, my whole purpose was always, I wanted to make sure that if I ever got into a fight out in the street, that I knew how to defend myself on the ground enough where I would be proficient, and like the average Joe is not going to be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you've done great. You got some of the hardest legs to pass.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like playing with that, with the spider guard, right? I like that, because for me, that makes sense. Like, if I get punched and I fall, or if I'm moving around, I trip and fall, and they're standing up, that's why I want to make sure I'm good with my legs there, because I think that's before they get on top of you, that you should be good there, because that's essentially that's what it is. They got to get past your legs.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we've had some good grappling matches. There's times where you're really good at your guard retention. I'm like, fuck, I just want to kick him in the balls.
But that's gotten better thanks to you guys, man. Like, you guys really, really, really helped me with that, especially like rolling with Nick, Sensei Nick, rolling with you, rolling with Boomer. Yeah, Boomer's got, like, because he likes to lock up your legs. So I had to be really careful with him. Like you're a wrist guy, he's a leg lock guy.
Oh yeah, and he's got some of the best ones I've seen.
He's got some nasty shit. So it's like with him, the way I treat, like when I have my hands on you when I'm grappling, I know I can't leave my hands there very long, like 1-2 seconds. I keep busy
Right.
with hands. With him, that's how I learned my guard retention, because I couldn't leave my legs anywhere with him very long because they were gonna get locked up.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm the same way with him. I don't like leaving my feet around him too long, just like he doesn't like leaving his wrist around me.
Yeah, you guys are both cheap.
It's funny when I grapple him, like I'll dig in and I'll be pulling on his beard. And years ago, I'd apologize, like, sorry man, I don't mean to pull your beard. He's like, oh, it's right now. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm ripping your beard out.
I used to hate that. I was trying to put my hand under his chin and it just get caught. My fingers get stuck in his goatee. You're like, I'm like, this is cheating, man. He had a really good. I don't know if it was who he was under. No, he was under you, Clay. Was it Clay?
Oh, Clay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a hard one to. He always got me, man. That guy had my number. Like he was so good with it. He had wrestling too, though, right?
He did, yeah. He wrestled all through high school, right? And when he got better at jiu-jitsu and put his wrestling there, he was even starting to give me a hard time.
Oh no, he was. I remember, like he was not an easy person to have like underneath you.
No.
Right? And then when he got on top, it was like, holy smokes, this is because you could tell he wasn't just, because of that wrestling, he liked that top position, man. He was heavy on there and aggressive.
Yeah, and fucking good. He liked the leg locks too.
Yeah. That's the first people I ever encountered who really were leg lock heavy was him and Boomer. I used to like watching those guys have battles, man.
Oh yeah, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's like it was so risky. It would have moments where it would like blow up and like have these good scrambles, and then it would be very, very technical because they were both very conscientious of their legs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was good times. Did Clay ever compete a lot?
He did one.
That's it?
Yeah, but he did Taekwondo, so he competed for most of his life. He just didn't care.
He wasn't that. Yeah, he just wanted to go train, eh?
Yeah, he just loved it simply for the fact that the train and to have fun. And I mean, I had some good battles with him. I pretty much started training him when he was 15 in jiu-jitsu, and I watched him grow up.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yep. Still super nice guy. He's not training right now, but I still keep in touch with him. He lives in Kingston now.
Oh, he moved to Kingston?
Yep.
Yeah, last time I sold him, he come and picked up a guitar. I sold him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was years ago. Yeah, he went and got his welding ticket, right?
Yep. He's in the Boilers Making Union now. Goes all over the place and works. But yeah, I still keep in touch with him every once in a while.
What do you think is the biggest reason why you don't have more like Japanese jiu-jitsu guys competing? Do you think that it has to do with focus of the art, or do you think it has to do with BJJ is just more equipped?
I think BJJ is more equipped and just blew up bigger. Right? Like Rorion Gracie, when he did the UFC, it was such a great marketing tool that he blew it up. And right,
but even still, like they blew it up and they're going to be popular, right? Like there'll be the brand name, so to speak. There's still like a lot of other, clubs out there that do jiu-jitsu. It's still ground game, but it's just Japanese. Why do you feel?
Right.
Do you think it's just because of the name alone, the stigma? Not the stigma, but the it's like the brand name alone that kind of gets it oversighted.
I think so. I think they see, and again, my personal opinion, is, you know, you look at Aikido, right? And Aikido gets a bad rap because you see the guys jumping when the other guy's putting the wrist lock on in the air, right?
Well,
Well,
Aikido is missing a bridge. You know what I mean? Aikido, like if you are good at already closing distance and getting your hands on somebody, and then I think Aikido could be really good because from already hands on, you could find those locks and stuff like that. Like the stuff that Shihan Ryan does, right? That a lot of that reminds you of Aikido, but he has ways of entry. He also has uh like grappling skills. Like Aikido guys don't have that grappling skill.
right. So, you know, it's the way it came down was like jiu-jitsu, right? So Aki jiu-jitsu was the kind of overall beginning art. And then, you know, judo and Aikido came from that.
Yeah.
Even BJJ's in that
Yeah, all of that
lineage.
was the samurai's arsenal.
Right. So, you know, they see they see the Aikido guys jumping because, you know, wrist locks, jumping through the air. Yeah, some of it's for show. But if you're getting it put on, like the reason some of the reason they're jumping is because they don't want the wrist to break.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel good. I've had Ryan demonstrate on me. It's your shit's gonna break.
So I think they kind of see that and they're like, well, that shit will never kind of really work.
I just think it's not the way they train it. Like the Aikido guys specifically, I'm talking about now. I think their training methodology is just it's really traditional. Like
It is.
if you train that, um, if you train that in your class or whatever, and then you not gonna go spar a boxer, there's no way you're gonna catch his hands to do those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree with you. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like I'm not shitting on Aikido. I'm just saying like its training methodology, it's way old and it's not like because it's weapon based. Originally, it was weapon based.
Yeah, it was based off the sword strike.
Well, that's the missing link, right? That's why it doesn't. Maybe that's what's not translating to the empty hand. That's gonna make it shine that way. But like once you put a weapon in your hand, it's like, oh, okay, this is totally different. Like if you take some of those techniques and like what's his name, Sifu Makoto, he does a lot of the blade work.
Right. Yep.
And I went to his dojo to meet him because he's a legend. I was like, I haven't got to work with this guy. Let me go. And he was showing me some sword shit, and I'm like, man, now I could see it. I could see where it came from. But again, it's like, how do you transfer that and make it relatable to, empty hand, especially against somebody who can punch?
Yeah, I think there's some Aikido schools that may have caught up with the times a little bit, but yeah, there's some that are.
I'm like, for the most part, right?
There's some that are still very, very traditional, and this is the way it's done, and that's the way it is.
Do you feel like Japanese jiu-jitsu is kind of like done that as well? I think really that's what separates BJJ and Japanese jiu-jitsu is BJJ like really evolved and hyper focused like on the ground.
Right. Yeah. And I think I wouldn't say that the traditional jiu-jitsu, the Japanese jiu-jitsu is behind. There's still a lot of good stuff they have. Like I love watching Bodrug in action. And I've seen him put some good guys down.
Oh yeah, he's skilled. He's really skilled.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's in the context and how you train.
Do you see yourself doing a lot more weapons grappling in the future?
Yeah, I want to do some more grappling with the knife.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Let's start playing with that. Maybe that's something we can have like as a class, like later on, like a self-defense class where you grappling against like a stick, knife, whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of just give those elements because I think that's got to be the scariest place to be is on the ground with somebody with a blade.
Yeah, well, you and I have done it a few times.
Yeah, with the shock knives and stuff. I
Yeah.
think it's great. It's because how do you how how are you gonna know what to do against somebody who does, like, heaven forbid that ever happened, but like I would at least want to have a basic understanding because the grappling translate way different with the knife.
Yeah, and like you and I, we've experimented that with that, and just
What did you think?
way different. It
What did
it
Go ahead.
it adds a whole new element, right?
Yeah, what would you
Because
say is
now,
the biggest change you felt? Like the biggest difference, other than obviously there's an edge, but like, well, how does it change the grappling?
well, I found I have to control your arms a lot more,
Yeah,
right? Because don't get me wrong, getting punched on the ground is no fun either, but not as bad when you got somebody with an edge weapon. I got to control those arms and that hand a lot more than I would still while trying to set up a submission and not get cut.
yeah. You say goodbye to like the lapel grabs and stuff like that with the two. Like you can't dedicate both arms to something. You have to kind of always have, even with the two hands on the hand that has the knife, you still got to be careful of that handoff. You have to make sure you have that properly.
Right. So, like that's I said, like controlling the hand, getting the grip around their thumb in their hand so they can't pass that knife off.
Yeah, it's so complex.
So, but I want to start doing that a little bit more. One, just to have, like you said, better defense with it on the ground and see what they're doing. And two, it's fucking fun.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting actually. I'm thinking I'd like to see how you apply your wrist lock game to somebody holding a knife.
Yeah, So we're gonna have to experiment with that for sure.
Yeah, because I think that would be quite efficient because you're already good at setting that up, and if you have the ability to kind of hyper focus that onto the hand with the weapon, just break the wrist. Looking at ways that, because it's like defanging with grappling, defanging the snake by grappling.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that was something I've been meaning to talk to you about, is playing around with that a little bit more and seeing what we can come up with, and maybe building a little bit of a curriculum around that.
I 100% am down for that because honestly, that's the kind of stuff that excites me. That's the kind of stuff that makes me will come out, is when I'm doing, like, if I'm just doing striking, if I'm just doing Muay Thai, if I'm just doing this, if I'm just doing that, I like it. But when you start mixing the arts together and you start playing, just experimenting, that's the shit I love. That's when I feel like I'm really learning.
Yeah, well, look at your the chokes we did with the sticks there.
Yeah,
that was fun,
man. Some of those things are game changers. Like even just the simple shit of like how to tuck and hide your stick so that you're able to do ground and pound. Because I think when you're grappling with the stick too, it's more dangerous with the knife, but it's more cumbersome with the stick. So like
right?
the stick can get in your way. Like,
yeah,
if you're trying to finish somebody, if you have the opportunity, we're trying to finish somebody on the ground. Sometimes the stick can get in your way. Sometimes the stick is the way. But sometimes you want the stick out of the way. But how do you get the stick out of the way without abandoning it? That was the question that drove me to playing it the way that I was playing with it. And then you guys helped me see things. I was seeing things, but I'm like, oh, there's more here. I need someone with more experience to look at what I see, because then they're gonna help me discover way more.
Yeah. So when you came up with that and you were messaging me like, how can we do this? And I was just like, let's see. So I, get my grappling dummy and a stick, and I would just try techniques down here to see, oh, this could be a possibility, and then we'd work on it.
You know what we should do? Renshi? We should have do like Shark Tank, and while we're doing Shark Tank at class, just walk by and start dropping weapons.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, it's like just drop a training blade, drop a foam padded stick, drop an extra obi.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. It would add something for sure.
Well, yeah, because you know what? Like, think about it. Like, you get into an altercation, you get into a fight, whether it be in your house, whether it be anywhere. You start looking at improvised weapons or the dynamic of a weapon, or I think it's like something as simple as a belt, because you could use your belt in a fight.
Oh, absolutely.
You know
Use
what I
my
mean?
belt now.
You can even get like those small suitcase, those pads that you hold for people to punch.
Yep.
If we had one of those, you can even simulate that as like a purse or something, a bag, gym bag.
Yeah, how to use it as a.
Yeah, I think we should. I think this would be something that'd be really interesting that we could have fun with.
Sometimes I think people think there's something wrong with us.
You're probably right. You're probably right, but it's more fun this way. You know what's funny is when you're like I don't do this now, but like even when you see somebody else do it, you like kind of nod your head when you make eye contact with them. You'll like catch somebody else shadow boxing by themselves. You know, so like I've seen people do that. They'll be in the store and they don't think anybody's looking. They're shadow boxing, and I see them. I start laughing, and I nod my head, and they're like, they get it. They know I get it. It's funny. It's really funny. So before I wrap this up here, what upcoming events are you going to be part of that people can look forward to, and where can people contact you if they're looking for training?
All right, so we have Warrior Weekend in North Bay coming up, March 17th weekend.
Yeah, I think I'm only up there for the Saturday.
Well, I hope you come for one day, because I'd love to see you. I know a lot of people like your content when you're there. So
yeah, I just hope it's not shit weather. And I was hoping to carpool, but I can't carpool now because I got to be back on Sunday. I got to be at the arena for the guards and law enforcement for like 10 in the morning,
right,
till 1, and then I got 3 until 7 p.m. for civilian. So I can't. I got to come back Saturday night.
Yeah, and then you have.
It's a 4-hour drive, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Fuck. What time does it end on Saturday?
4, but that depends how much. If you're only teaching one class on Saturday, like just leave after that.
Yeah, if I do 1 or 2, usually I do 2. If I do 2, that still works. Even if I leave by 4, it's not bad. I'll get home by like 8 o'clock. That gives me more than enough time to rest.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that one. You have, or Combat Arts has Greg Nelson coming in, right?
Yeah, Greg Nelson. Are you coming?
No, I got to work that week and I can't get it off.
Oh, just tell me you have diarrhea or something. Just fucking. just come, man. It's Greg Nelson. It's like, when's the next time you're gonna see him?
God, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's worth it, brother. Personal day, sick day, something.
Yeah, and then I'm working on a few seminars of just like my own. I'm just waiting to hear back dates that people want. I think one's going to be at the end of April in Kingston.
Right on.
So hopefully, if you're in the Kingston area, and we'll be posting that on social media when it's all settled.
And are you going to be showing like your like what are you going to be focusing on, wrist locks and stuff?
Yep, this one's a wrist lock seminar.
Right on.
So hopefully more people will ask me to come in and show my wrist lock game, because I'd really love to do that for some people.
You know what we gotta do? We gotta get people. Are you allowed? You're allowed to do that in comp, right?
Blue belt and up.
Yeah, blue belt. So that's what we gotta do. We gotta start building a wrist lock army. Send them out there. Start winning some tournaments so that people can recognize it, and then we'll really. That's what you'll be known for.
I think I already am known for that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like your students too.
Like I said, this is how you lose friends.
All right.
It's funny because anytime I wrist lock any of you guys, you all call me asshole. So.
Oh, for sure. There's been a couple where you messed up my hand, man. I'm not gonna lie. My wrist was like mangled for a while after that.
I know, and you always tell me like my wrists are sore, and then you put your hand there, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm fucking sorry.
All right, Renshi. Well, it's been a pleasure, man. I enjoyed having you on here. I look forward to rolling with you soon.
Yes, sir.
What you got for tomorrow night? John Jones or Cyril Gahn?
I'm going for Cyril Gahn.
I'm telling you, I think he's getting. I think Jones is getting knocked out.
And I'm going for Valentina.
Yeah, I hope she wins too.
Me too.
All right, brother. Until next time.
All right, brother. Thanks. See you soon.